Okay, so back with the SEGAPALOOZA, we're looking at the original home ports of arcade games versus the 3D home port of arcade games, which was released for the PS2, which I found while I was browsing in CEX one day and spent a fiver on it. So, what have we looked at? We looked at Virtua Racing, which was great because I love Virtua Racing. Then we looked at Bonanza Brothers, which I played a lot of, and I don't like. Which is, yeah, I know, a weird statement, but I have played a lot of that game. Don't think it's very good. Then what was after that? Goodness me. Then after that was Space Harrier, which is great, and I love Space Harrier, and I actually kind of enjoyed the 3D remake. It was not as good, I don't think, but it was very interesting. Then Outrun, which I'm terrible at, but the game again isn't as good as the original Outrun. But because I'm so bad at Outrun and the Outrun remake, I'm not really the authority on that. Although I do like the PSP, what's it called, Coast to Coast, and it's nowhere near as good as that. For a 3D version of Outrun, if you're going to play a 3D version of Outrun, play Coast to Coast on the PSP. Or 2006, I think, on the original Xbox. I can't remember. It's been a while ago. Then what did we look at? Then we looked at Monaco GP, which I was pleasantly surprised by, the original 3D Ages mode on that. I didn't really think much of the Sega SG-1000 game. I didn't really think much of the classic 3D game. But the original, brand new, they called it original, but like the 3D Ages new mode was quite a lot of fun, actually. Then what did we look at? Then we looked at Fantasy Zone, which is Fantasy Zone, except it's got a difficulty slider, which makes things way better. And also, it's cel-shaded, which I wasn't expecting, actually. So it's a 3D game made to look like a 2D game, which is really weird. Because when the selling point of your game is that it's in 3D, to then cel-shade it is odd. But it was good cel-shading. It looked nice. Like, it's fairly simple shapes, but yeah, that was interesting. So what's next? Next is a game, again, that I have played a lot of. Now, in my original video, I actually said that I spent a long time in hospital. And with that, I had a PSP and one UMD in it. And that UMD was the Sega MegaDrive collection, and it was a collection of about 30 or so Sega MegaDrive games, and one of those games was Columns. I love Columns. I have played a lot of Columns. I really, really love Columns. So like Bonanza Brothers is a game that I played a lot of, don't really think is very good. Columns is a game that I played a lot of and actually really like. So what is Columns? Columns is Sega's answer to Tetris, like Fantasy Zone was Sega's answer to Defender, and so on and so forth. Let's have a look. So we've got very, very basic instructions. Again, this was an arcade game, but I'm looking at the home port because A, it's the home port that I'm most familiar with, and B, I like looking at home ports versus home ports, which is why when I looked at Virtua Racing, instead of the arcade game, which is always going to be better, we looked at the 32X game, which I really like, and not that many people have played. So that's why I brought that up. So Columns was an arcade game, but a lot of people played this on the Mega Drive. Mostly because at one point it was packaged with the Mega Drive, I think. And also it's the one, like if you get a compilation, it's always on there. So what is Columns? Columns is, like I said, the answer to Tetris. All the columns, I mean, it's in the title, they are vertically laid, and you just drop them down. You can get 3 or more matching gems, and it can be in any of the the 4 cardinal directions, or essentially 2, because there would be this exact same thing. So you can have them running vertically, horizontally, or either diagonal. That's it. That's the entire game. It does not get more complicated than that. Let's get started. What are we going to do? Let's just go straight into the arcade menu. So there is like a home game version where it's just this, essentially. You can just set the difficulty, and then when you start the arcade version, it gives you a difficulty setting. The difficulty setting for this is just what level do you start on. So, with Columns, I am... What am I hoping for? For the... Oh, the button you press actually just changes the order. So the order here is very important for me to change, so I can go like this. Or in fact, you know what? I'll put it down at the bottom and I'll show you why. Because that'll get rid of the top. Now, I can put a red gem on that top corner like this, and you'll see diagonals. Right, so where can I put this? I can put this like this, and that will get a diagonal, and then I can do a double maybe. This will get a chain, so we go 1, 2, that's a chain, that gives me more score, so on and so forth. If you've ever played a game on an iPhone, you have played columns, because at some point someone has made this. Oh, I should have left that, because then I could have got a 5 chain. Never mind. Yeah, so columns. Here's the thing. I like columns. I've played a lot of columns. I've said that multiple times already. How do you improve this with 3D graphics? Like, let's think about this for a second. What could you do to this game with a 3D graphic engine that would improve it? Oh, right. So now my speed has gone up because I have now leveled up, essentially, if you want to call it that. Let's put that in the middle, because then I can do a diagonal. Oh, that's just going to disappear, so I can really drop it anywhere. So yeah, what am I expecting for 3D columns? To be honest, I could not... Oh, I've screwed that right up. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what adding 3D to this will add, if anything. Like, can you change viewpoints? I mean, maybe when you get a column, it explodes or falls? Like, I don't really know what to expect. I'm hoping good things, because columns deserves good remakes. I mean, again, forget all those, like, iPhone games where it's like, oh, you need more energy, blah, 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 blah. Forget all that. Like, columns deserves good ports. There we go. That should get a chain. Pop, pop. It's been a while since I played columns, so I'm not exactly on top form. But I'm not doing too bad, he says, and then does that. Oh, and that. Oh, my good God. Oh, Lord. Oh, that's just going to go anywhere. It doesn't matter. Alright, let's pop that gem down there. Now get rid of them. That's terrible. Right, and at some point those help indicators do go off as well. What was... Oh, right, so this will get rid of everything of that colour. So you get nice big chains. Let's put that in the middle. Oh, I screwed that up. And let's put these on top. Like that. Yeah, 3D-ness of columns. I don't think 3D would actually help. If anything, maybe that would make... Can you make columns worse by adding 3D? Like, let's think about it. What games have been worse when they became 3D? I mean, the original Street Fighter games, like Street Fighter EX plus Alpha, they were alright in 3D, but they weren't great. You know what I mean? A lot of games, when they make their transition to 3D, didn't do so well. Maybe columns will be one of those, but... I mean... Put it this way. 3D seems incredibly unnecessary. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for, unnecessary. It doesn't seem like I've played this game, and again, like I say, and have said, I put a lot of hours into this game. At no point did I think, you know what this game needs? You know what I mean? Like, at no point was I thinking, it's alright, but it would be better if it had 3D graphics. I just, yeah, feel a bit conflicted. I am screwing this right up. There we go. Trying to make chains, but not doing too well. There you go. Let's whack that in there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it could be categorically terrible. I'm hoping not. I really, really hope not. But then, you know, I trust Sega. Maybe, like, Sega have a little bit more knowledge about making games than I do. Like, what the hell do I know? Maybe they just went, like, nailed it first time. I don't know. I hope so. Alright, I'm getting to the point now where it's getting a bit too fast for me to see. I always find that point in puzzle games where I'm like, I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm just kind of hitting buttons and hoping. I'm kind of at that stage now. Again, it's been a while. You've really got to pay attention to your next... I mean, unlike Tetris, you've got to pay attention to the next column. Oh, God. Lord, I've screwed that right up. Get a triple. Yeah, there we go. Alright, now you'll see it slowed down again. It does that occasionally. It's all to do with the levels. So once you hit a certain level, it actually slows down again, gives you a chance to have a breather. and then just goes absolutely ballistic. Alright, let's try and get that double there. There you go. No, that was terrible. There you go. Look, there's a quadruple. Boom. God, I wish I had played like more of this. I've got this on like various, like all my Raspberry Pis. I've got this on. I keep it on Keyring Pi and other. Oh, I've just screwed that right up. Okay, so that's Columns. Right, very good. Thank you very much. I will take very good for someone that hasn't played this in a while. So yeah, Columns. I think Columns is great. I don't prefer it to Tetris, but I mean, out of all of the games that Tetris spawned, like Clax and Atomino and things like Zoop and stuff like that, all of those, like, for want of a better phrase, I mean, Tetris spawned the housewife game. Like, that was the person who was insanely good at Tetris, was housewives. Because they would play it on a Game Boy, while the kids were asleep or whatnot. And then when Facebook came around, they kind of found a way of monetizing the housewife game with Farmville and stuff like that. But Tetris was the game that, and the thing that made me laugh is that when Tetris came onto the Nintendo Switch with Tetris 99, like, chances are you were going to get absolutely mullered by someone with the username like I love my kids 79, which I always thought was really funny because it means that there's an army of housewives out there that are insanely good at Tetris. But Columns was one of the games in the wake of Tetris, and I think it does the best of being different, and like Atomino was different, and even things like Pipe Mania all spawned from Tetris, those like quick pick up and play puzzle games. But I think of all of them, and obviously the one I'm clearly forgetting is Bust a Move, or whatever it was called in Japan. Was it Puzzle Bobble? Like, of all of those games, I think Columns is definitely up there. I think Tetris, Bust a Move, and Columns are maybe the three greatest of that second wave of puzzle games. Alright, let's have a look at this in 3D. Oh, fingers crossed. Please be good, please be good, please be good, please be good. Okay, back again. I can't wait for this. I don't know how you make Columns 3D. Maybe they just do a Bonanza Brothers like the old bait and switch, and it's not actually 3D. I am super fascinated in this. Super fascinated. Like, it's designed to be 2D. I don't know. I genuinely don't know how to do it. There are loads of 3D Tetrises, so maybe it's like that? Maybe it sort of rotates and scales. I just don't know. Sure. Such a weird collection so far. You've got some... Okay, well that's 3D. Okay. That background resolution though, boy, that looks like it's literally from the MegaDrive. Excuse me, Columns? Excuse me, Columns? I think you'll find that those are sprites. Those are 2D sprites. The buttons, the actual joystick on the right, that's 3D. The button next to the joystick, also 3D. The actual part of the game is not 3D. Huh. Please tell me it's not just this intro. Volume 7 as well, they did 6 before this. Oh, what is going on with that font? Yikes. I can barely see anything because it's clashing with the stuff in the background. Good lord. Alright. I haven't got my glasses on, so... Options. Vibration on, yes. Voice. Sure. Okay. It's a weird option. Memory card. Yeah, sure. Okay. What do I want to do? Versus CPU mode, versus mode. Let's just go into endless mode. I'm assuming that's just columns, right? Okay.
This is an updated version of the original columns released in 1990. All of the rules and strategies from before are still alive and well. The game field from versus CPU's mode is used here, making things easier to see. The timing of the appearance of magic jewels and the visibility of their gauge meter has been readjusted. Right, let's play the original and see if that changes anything. You've changed nothing. This is... even the music. I mean, the gems are... This is just columns. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I said before, love columns. Played a ton of columns. This is just columns. There's nothing here that's different in any way, shape or form. Other than they've changed... It looks like they've changed some of the sprites. I'll tell you what this looks like. If Sega were a multi-platform developer, this is what the Nintendo 64 version of columns would look like. You know what I mean? It has that kind of look to it, where the N64 did that weird sprite stuff. I wouldn't say scaling, but weird sprite stuff. And it kind of looks like that. Like, this is just columns, right? Is there any way out of it? Oh, yeah, I'll do the old-fashioned way. Hang on, here we go. Alright, this is obviously to appease people that like columns. What was that other mode? Hell no. That even had the same background and it looked low res, like it was ripped straight from the MegaDrive. Like, not even from one of the ports. Maybe it was ported in Shenmue or something. Maybe it was like in that. Yikes, that was bad. Right, endless mode. Let's look at the other option. This can't be the same thing. Oh. Okay, they look like 3D elements with 2D sprites over the top. That background looks like a... Oh, okay. They're still sprites, but at least they're rotating. What is this? Is this really a thing? Is this genuinely a thing? Okay. They're still sprites, man. You're not fooling anybody. That's... You're not... Sega 3D Ages, not impressed. Not impressed, Sega 3D Ages. Alright, let's put that one there. Where do I put it? I'll put it there. That's fine. I mean, it's got vibration mode. That's something, I guess. But that's not 3D! Come on, who are you fooling? That's not 3D. Are you really going to tell us that that is a 3D object? It's not. That's clearly a sprite. Alright. There's got to be more to this, right? Like, is there a rotating mode or some kind of, like, Weltris mode? They even fall over the background. They don't even collide with each other. I was genuinely looking forward to columns in 3D. This is just not good. Alright, what else have we got? What's this versus CPU mode? Is that just going to be the same thing? Last night, the definitive? Are they eyes? Last night, that eye looks exactly the same as that L. Alright, let's just pronounce it as L's then. Last night, not last night, the definitive museum exhibit columns was stolen. There hasn't been any slanging of who the perpetrator was. Colette? It could be Colette, or it could be Kuwait? No clues, eh? Obviously, the thief was something other than human. The authorities could never figure this out on their own. Did columns really need anime Tomb Raider? Like, the magic jewels have brought Egypt with me. Okay. Oh, good lord. Scarab, where are you? I demand that you show yourself. Heh heh heh. Well, if it isn't dear little Colette. Dueling well, aren't we? Dear Colette, is it? Hold your tongue. I need you to tell me what you know about columns. What's that? Oh, I haven't the slightest. Sorry. Don't even try to lie to me. Hand over the columns now. They are too valuable to be left with the likes of you. Now hand it over. Maybe I'll take you up on that offer. If you give me your magic jewels in exchange. What do you say to that, dear Colette? What? How do you know about the magic jewels? What do you want with them? I am information broker. Huh? Oh, I am an information broker, after all. So, are we at an impasse then, I take it? What is with this grammar? It's insanely hard to read. So it would seem, I'm afraid. I guess the time for words is over. Prepare yourself. That's 3D, kind of. Alright, okay, here we go. 3D blocks. More 3D blocks in the background. And then they're rotating 2D sprites. Come on, man. Like... Okay, so they added a story mode. They added... I also know that tune as well. Why do I know that tune? Oh, it's going to drive me mad. I don't know where I put that. Yeah, this is columns. This is just columns. Columns is good. Play columns. Oh, here we go. Let's get rid of the yellows. Or don't, or whatever, you know. No, screwed it up. Can't really tell the difference. Is it me, or is it, like, particularly hard to see the difference between the orange and the yellows? Like, I'm not colourblind in any fashion, but I'm finding it really hard to focus on the difference between the orange and the yellows. Ironically, if they weren't spinning, it would be slightly easier to see. Because it is, because I have. But... yeah, I'm not sure about this. Level 2, there we go, yeah. So speed up, I guess. I'm not impressed. I'll be honest. This seems completely pointless. Should you play it? I mean, yes, if you want to see anime Tomb Raider with weird grammatical pauses and like she spoke like Christopher Walken for some reason. Yeah, it's columns. I mean, it's columns. So it's got that. There's really nothing else to say. Do you like story modes? I guess they were going after Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, but columns didn't need that for a start. Right, let's leave that. It's columns. What would I say? So I'd say at the top you would have Space Harrier, then after that Outrun, then after that Fantasy Zone, then Monaco, then what is it? What's worse between this and Bonanza Brothers? Well, you know what? This comes first because Bonanza Brothers was A, not 3D, and B, was already bad to begin with. At least, this is a better game than Bonanza Brothers. Like, Columns is great. I love Columns, but what is the point of this? Who is this for? Like, it doesn't add anything by being in 3D. It's just Columns. I just don't really see the point. I mean, that joystick's a nice 3D joystick. Bully for them, I guess. But what's the point? Alright, cool. So I guess we got one more left to look at. Possibly the most interesting one. Anyway, peace.